Richard Chase, otherwise known as the Vampire of Sacramento, was a serial killer active from December 1977 through January of 1978. He would end up taking the lives of 6 people in the short span of a month, gaining the nickname from the fact that he drank the blood of his victims. This is his story. Chase was born May 23rd of 1950 in Sacramento, California. His early life saw a number of issues take hold, which would, in part, lead to Chase becoming a heavy drug user by his early teen years. As he matured into adulthood, Chase's mental health would only deteriorate, and he would develop hypochondria, a condition where a person is excessively and unduly worried about getting sick. Chase also often complained that his heart would stop beating at random, or even, on occasion, tell those around him that his pulmonary artery, the artery in the pulmonary circulation that carries deoxygenated blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs, had been stolen out of his body. It was noted that Chase would hold oranges on the top of his head, his reasoning being that the vitamin C from the oranges would be absorbed into his brain through diffusion. Chase also stated that his cranial bones were no longer connected and that they simply floated around freely. He even shaved his own head in order to be able to see them move about. In 1973, Chase was admitted into a psychiatric ward, and only a few years later was committed to a mental institution after killing a rabbit, draining its blood, and injecting that blood into his own veins. The medical staff would give him the nickname Dracula because of this, and his general fascination with blood. Chase was placed on various medications during treatment, some of which were psychotropic in nature, before ultimately being diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. But despite all of this, Chase was released the same year he was admitted into the care of his mother, being deemed no longer a threat to society. For most of his life, Chase lived with his mother, but he would eventually move out of his own volition, believing that his mother was trying to poison him. In fact, his mother was working to slowly wean Chase off the medication that was prescribed to him. With the help of his mother, Chase would later find residence with a number of friends in a shared apartment, all of whom would later complain that he often reeked of drugs and booze and was regularly under the influence of various narcotics. His roommates would eventually demand that Chase move out of the shared apartment, but when he refused, all the other residents eventually left instead. Having a now empty apartment all to himself, Chase would begin his murderous killing spree. With free rein and no one to challenge or question him, Chase would start small by capturing animals and murdering them, disemboweling them, and oftentimes eating their entrails raw. On other occasions, Chase would mix the extracted organs with Coca-Cola in a left-behind blender. He later admitted that the eating of animals in this manner would prevent his heart from shrinking away into nothing. In December of 1977, Chase would move from animal murders to human murders, his first killing taking place just after Christmas of that year in a drive-by shooting, killing a father of two with no connection to Chase. After this event, he would attempt to break into the home of a woman, but was unable to get past the locks on the doors and eventually gave up. This would be important in his murders, as he later told police that he did not enter the homes with locked doors. He stated that locked doors indicated that he was not welcome and would leave, but that unlocked doors meant he was welcome inside the home. In his next attack, he entered the home of one Evelyn Meroth, but instead of finding Meroth, who was in the bath at the time, he would instead encounter one Danny Meredith, whom he shot before then shooting Meroth, her 6-year-old son, and her 22-month-old nephew. He would then sexually defile the corpse of Meroth before mutilating and eating it, all while surrounded by the bodies of the others. But a knock on the door as he feasted would take Chase by surprise. He would steal the keys to a car belonging to Meredith and escape, taking the body of the 22-month-old child with him. The person knocking would see Chase leaving and alerted police. Police would then find perfect fingerprints, handprints, and shoe imprints left behind in the blood, all of which were used to tie the murders back to Chase. Police would track Chase down at his apartment and find the entire place covered in blood. They said blood covered the walls, the ceiling, all over the kitchen, and most notably on the utensils Chase had left out. Chase would eventually head to trial on 6 counts of murder, his defense trying to spare him from the death penalty, citing his past documented instances of various mental illnesses and that none of the murders committed were premeditated. In the end, the jury would not buy this argument and find Chase guilty on all counts, and he would be sentenced to death via the gas chamber. While waiting on death row, other prisoners feared Chase after learning of his violent nature and the crimes he committed. Prison officials stated that his fellow inmates would often try to get Chase to commit suicide so as not to be around him. But for Chase, he would give a number of interviews while on death row, where he stated that while he did kill all of those people, it was not his fault. He stated that he was forced to kill them in order to keep himself alive. He also noted that Nazi UFOs kept tabs on him and that he wanted access to a radar gun in order to help catch them and have them stand trial for the murders. But for Chase, he would never make it to the gas chamber, as on December 26th of 1980, a year after his conviction, and on almost to the day of the 3-year anniversary of his very first murder, he would be found dead in his cell. An autopsy would later find that Chase had overdosed on his prescribed antidepressants, hoarding pills away for weeks before taking his own life. Thank you for listening to this episode of Case Files. If you like what you saw and want more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to be alerted of new episodes that release every week during a given season. Thank you once again for watching, and remember to stay safe and never stop learning.